From Wall Street to Main Street, this is Lalate.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with incredible great news about your stimulus check update of 2022. Direct from Santa Monica, California, with huge breaking news about your recession, your inflation, your interest rates, and your big stimulus checks, $80,000 of them that went out starting today. We'll go over those incredible checks in just a second, but minutes ago, major developing details. You're going to see the price of gasoline by May drop to $3 at the pump. I have the breaking news as the White House anchors and does a major deal just minutes ago for your gasoline. This is breaking news you're hearing for the first time in America's most watched show in primetime for financial news, Evenings LA. The White House has done a deal, and it's coming up in the sixth stimulus analysis. But first, your Build Back Better Act, big checks. 50,000 of them, and it's going to the finish line, the White House says, in a new correspondence between legislators and the White House. We'll go over all those incredible checks in there, including those MSCs. Then we'll be looking to the CR and go over the latest update about that, those county checks. The $80,000 of checks that are going out, they have landed in people's accounts, and they are members. We'll go over those incredible checks of the fourth stimulus. They're law, they're paying out, and they've been received. Then we'll be turning to big third stimulus checks, as one viewer got herself an MSC. In fact, she got a monthly stimulus check for 12 months from third stimulus, and I'm going to show you how to get it as well. Then we'll be turning to the breaking details. Oh boy, it's a huge night. Number one, we have a deal on gasoline, and it's going to drop to $3 at the pump by May. It's breaking news you're hearing for the first time on Evenings. Then we have a major developing detail between Biden and Xi, the president of China. Did he throw Vladimir Putin under the Russian bus? All the latest details on that. There's a lot happening, plus the major twist from the Central Bank of the United States, Jay Powell. Did Jay Powell overstep or understep his position on that inflation? And what does that mean for your SSI and SSDI? Joe make the phone call, and I'm going to show you why Joe should. It raises your benefits up across the board. A deal on gasoline, a deal with Xi, and then a deal potentially for your SS300, and then those $80,000 of checks. You've never seen a recording like this, because next week it's going to be even bigger. I have a preview of next week as they talk about six stimulus in a major European meeting of those leaders. It's Evenings, and the excitement starts right now. And good evening, everybody. Evenings are late, and boy, as interest rates continue to drop, how quickly will be dropping? Or is Jay Powell's efforts to drop them not so strong? I have the breaking news on that. The recessionary front taking a major twist as a deal for gasoline is inked overnight. It happened just minutes ago. I have the latest details on that. But then we're going to start to those $80,000 of checks. Viewers are getting them. It's fourth stimulus. It's law. It's going out. It's landing. And Biden sent it out. I have the latest details on those checks. We have a lot in tonight's recording. I'm going to tell you, in all the weeks of Evenings LA, I've never seen a night where there's so much breaking news. Number one, a deal on gasoline. You're going to drop to $3 a gallon at the pump in less than 4 weeks, even lower. And it's a major deal. Who's it with? I'm going to save that for just a second. It's a major deal. It's huge. We're done with the energy crisis in no less than 8 weeks. Wow. But six stimulus is still heating up because the leaders are going overseas in the next 7 days to meet talk about your six stimulus checks. That's coming up as well. Then we have a major twist with Jay Powell, as new analysts say that Jay Powell does not have the effort, does not have the tools to drop down inflation. So that's good for your SS300. That's coming up in tonight's recording as well. And then we have a major twist with Biden and Beijing. It happened today. Is Beijing, Xi, throwing Russia under the Russian bus? I have the latest details on that. And then we'll look at what's happening with your big money from Build Back. But we're starting start with Build Back tonight. A lot of major breaking details in tonight's recording. Stay to the very end because I have more new checks coming up later in this recording at the very end. You don't want to miss it. The Build Back Better Act for stimulus recon is going to the finish line, says the Democratic leadership in both correspondences this week from the president to them and from them back to the president. I've been monitoring these checks and these letters all week long from the shores of Santa Monica to the shores of Pennsylvania Avenue. Well, yeah, there are no shores there. Okay, the lake, that water thing. The incredible details is that the legislators represent it's going to get done. Let's go over all these incredible checks that are in there. 3 clusters and 3 add-ons. Those clusters add up to at least $15,000 to upwards of $80,000. Build Back Better for stimulus recon. Let's look at that first cluster. Third stimulus will be repeated with another round of hazard pay for my essential workers. The Earned Income Tax Credit. I'll learn about it at irs.gov tonight. Another round of the CTC for the young children. Yes, another round of that. Learn it at irs.gov. Then brand new enforced stimulus, a lot of provisions. Number 1, $4,000 for elder care. Then $4,000 of care for young children. Home repairs to repair your home in a low-income community. New also $550 checks for my Pell Grant college students. And also new $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. The first add-on at checks comes from Maxine Waters. Just a little bit less than $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. That money will be given to the seller in the federal government's name in your name from the federal government to the seller at the time of escrow. Yeah, it's huge. Just a little bit less than $25,000. It got in there. This is the first of 3 add-ons in the Build Back Better. And we're going to get to that third one in a second. But first, let's go to the second cluster checks, home repairs and paid leave. Paid leave to weatherize your home repairs to weatherize your home. And paid leave, lots of money. Paid leave is if you have to stay home due to sickness or illness. If you make $70,000 or more per year, that's $1,700 a week. Split in half, it's $35,000 annual salary, and split in half if your annual salary is $15,000 a week. So on the low end, you're going to get $400 a week. On the high end, $1,700 a week. 4 to 6 weeks a year, W-2, 1099, you all get it. If you don't work, but your son or daughter does work, they're going to get the check as well. It's huge, and it got in there. Then we turn it to the second add-on of checks. Oh my goodness, even better. Less than $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. That third cluster has even more money in there. Seniors and free internet for all checks, farmers checks, independent contractors checks, and seniors checks. That is hearing, dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 55 and the Medicaid gap fix. That'll provide insurance to uninsured people in those 12 Republican holdout states. They never had it, now they would. This is the third cluster checks, the third add-on, of course, is those MSCs. MSC, who gets it? Well, you're going to get it if you got a third. Let's recap who got that third. Single individual, $75,000 or less, got it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, got it. Double it. Family of 4, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, you get it as well. It's not income. It's not taxable. It goes off of the most recent tax return. If you didn't file one, then it goes off. Then it goes in the mail. If that tax return had a direct deposit, that's how you get paid. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months. It's huge. It's not income. It's not taxable. It's offered nationwide, and the eligibility is the same as third. The legislators represent they would pay it the same way, and they pay it $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months. But later in this video, stay to the very end, because guess what? One viewer got her own MSC yesterday. Oh boy. Yes, viewers have learned how to get MSCs from this channel. She is getting $1,500 a month of MSCs from this channel. And the first month is paid her today. How do you get her MSCs? It's coming up later in this video. Stay with me. Now, there's a lot coming up in this video with that breaking news of a major deal for oil. Yes, oil is dropping because a major deal, and you have never heard this anywhere else except here on Evenings LA. The deal will drop your gasoline to $3 at the pump in less than 4 to 8 weeks, even lower. It may potentially drop to $2 in some of the cheaper states. It's going to drop you back to your 2010, 2008 gasoline prices. Wow. It's a major deal that was announced just minutes ago. I have it for you later in this video. It's 6 stimulus. But first, let's turn to those $80,000 of checks. Fourth stimulus, did it pass? Build Back Better Act did not pass, but this has passed because it was done not by Congress, but by Joe Biden. $80,000 of checks have gone out. Have you got it in? It's fourth stimulus. What is this? It's a fourth stimulus add-on or ancillary piece of legislation that has already started to pay the membership of this channel up to $80,000. What is it? It's coming up later in this video, and I'll go over those incredible details. Stay with me, but first become a member, and I'm going to get you those checks ASAP. Now let's turn to the breaking news about CR and then Joe Biden and Jay Powell. CR is the continuing resolution, and Joe Biden did not get in that CR what he wanted for last week. So guess what Joe Biden is doing? He's coming back with another piece of legislation because guess what? COVID is surging out of control in China, and it's coming to the United States. It's a sub-variant of Omicron. And Joe Biden says, I have no money for this. He's right, because they did not put it in there. So he's coming back with another piece of legislation, opportunity to get a $2,000 stimulus check. Now, the CR that did pass last week got county stimulus in there. So reach out to your county or watch the county news or open your local newspaper. In the case of Georgia, lots of county stimulus got it in there. But the huge news is Jay Powell. Jay Powell is a series of new analyst reports that came out today. And what am I saying? I'm agreeing with them. Two breaking news on this SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad Benefits, Veterans Benefits front. And it's huge. Now remember, how does this work? It's SS200, SS300. It works by swapping out COLA for inflation. Inflation came in at December 2021 at 8%. I had predicted it all year long last year to come in. Jay Powell misguided. He said 1 to 2% temporary. He misguided. He said transitory, going to come back down. He misguided. It came in at a whopping 8% last month, in December, 7.5 to be exact. And then in January, I predicted again at 8%. He misguided again. He said it was coming down. It came at 7.9%. So what happened? Jay Powell, his job is to reduce inflation by increasing interest rates at FOMC meetings, one per month throughout 2022. Let me tell you what he did yesterday, and let me tell you the breaking news today. It was huge. It was absolutely astronomical, huge breaking news. Remember, Joe wants to make that swap from COLA to inflation now. You want to make sure he makes that phone call. It was a campaign promise, and then at joebiden.com, part of his presidential platform. You want him to make that call now because you'll lock in 8%, not just this month, but lifetime. That'll raise your benefits up $200 a month right now. Why now? Before Jay Powell reduces inflation by doing those interest rate spikes. Now, the breaking news that we saw yesterday, let's recap. Jay Powell for the month of March 2022 did a quarter basis point, aka 25 basis point, because that's what he told us he would do in February. But he gave us guidance for the rest of the year. He said, I'm going to do a quarter basis point over the next 6, not 5 FOMC meetings, bringing it to 175 basis point. And he's projecting to get inflation down to 2% by December, not 4% as he initially guided. 4% will give you another $100 later this year. 2% won't, obviously. It'll give you about $50 more per year. And that is why you want to do that swap right now for COLA in the event that Joe watches Jay bring it down to 2% by the end of the year. That would be SS250, not SS300. Now, here is the breaking news today. 2 items. First, I'm going to give you the bigger one first, because I agree with it. And also on Wall Street, all this morning, all this afternoon, we're saying, you know what? I don't think Jay Powell has the abilities. I don't think Jay Powell can bring down inflation. Wow. I've been reporting for 2 weeks. He's going to do it. He's going to bring it down. What is Wall Street? Some analysts, and I'm agreeing with them, think that Jay Powell does not have the ability to bring down inflation. Why? They think that inflation is not tied to interest rates, and that's tied to supply chain. And that supply chain is going to continue to erupt and grow across the country, even worse because of what's coming up later in this video, supply chain interruption because of Putin and China. And Jay Powell focused on interest rate, it's not going to work. Jay Powell's best tool is talking. And why is Wall Street not buying it? They say he does not have the tools. So number one, they don't think he's going to bring down inflation. Ooh, boy. Huge. Number two, they think that he's going to pivot because he may come in too hard on interest rates, and interest rates will not solve inflation by maybe the third month of him doing this, and then he's going to have to stop. Wow, this is huge. Now, on the other side was the complete opposite. I don't subscribe to this analysis. Let me tell you what it is. Jay Powell is the chair of the Federal Reserve. He has governors underneath him. And one of the governors, Christopher Waller, this morning said inflation's raging, so he thinks that 25 basis point, what we did yesterday with Jay Powell, ain't going to work, that he's going to advocate for 50 basis point. So in any sense, the one front loading is the way to pull rates higher forward. I wouldn't buy the 50 basis point at one or multiple means in the next few weeks is needed in the near future. Huge. So what does this mean for you? That he thinks that a few Fed heads are going to say, no, we need to do a half basis point in the next few weeks. I think this is not fluid, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think that the Fed governors are going to say, no, you're causing stagflation. Remember stagflation, remember hard landing or soft landing. Hard landing is a 50 basis point today, or yesterday, he didn't do it. 50 basis point next meeting is also hard landing. I mean, we're going to slap this economy down really hard. They're not doing that. They're doing soft landing. And then stagflation, very big concern. A lot of reports today said stagflation may be in this economy already for the housing market. Stagflation is where inflation is growing and we're not growing as an economy. So Jay Powell is watching these analytics, and I am too. And guess what also we're watching? The economic data suggesting that the 10-year Treasury note is getting inverted. It's zooming too high over the other notes, and that would suggest that perhaps Jay Powell is coming in right on the money. So the takeaway I'm saying right now is that I'm no longer worried at the time of this recording that Joe needs to make that swap from COLA to inflation by a certain date or we're in trouble. Now, I want him to make the phone call right away. I don't want him to wait. But I'm no longer subscribing to the analysis that he has to make it by early April. I had said that over the last week. I think a lot of analysts are correct. I'm now subscribing to the analysis that Jay Powell does not have the tools to do this, that inflation is going to stay high, and that whatever Jay Powell does is not going to work because inflation is caused by supply chain, not caused by interest rates. It's not going to work. And I think he's going to have to pivot off of it because it's going to cause stagflation. I think he got it wrong again. So that's the breaking news on that front. Meantime, real huge breaking news. Oh boy, am I excited. In the second half of this video, I got a triple whammo for you. First, one viewer from Third Stimulus got herself MSC. And she's not alone. Countless viewers are now getting MSC monthly stimulus checks. In her case, she's getting $1,500 a month for 12 months. She's not alone. I'll show you how to get these monthly stimulus checks. Then we're going to look at that $80,000 for stimulus checks. Yes, 4 stimulus checks have gone out. Yes, in some cases it's up to $80,000. Yes, countless members of this channel have gotten it. And if you're a member, I'm congratulating you if you got that application in and it says complete. Then we're looking to this major developing detail early today with Xi potentially throwing Vladimir Putin under the bus, but the real big question mark is next week. Next week is a huge economic meeting of the world leaders for 6 stimulus. It's for 6 stimulus, the biggest stimulus package you've ever seen. And then we'll be looking at what's happening to Vladimir Putin on April 4th. It's huge. The largest default of a generation for Vladimir Putin, nearly $2 billion. It will happen if nothing else changes. All the latest details on that coming up in this recording. It's a huge second half. We'll be looking at what's going on with all that and more as we go into a big second half. I'm excited for you, and we'll be looking at all these incredible checks. Then we'll be looking at why gasoline will be dropping to a mere $2, $3 a barrel by no less than 4 weeks from now. Oh, Purple Hawks, we are pouncing on this one. All the breaking news, you've never heard a recording like this, comes up in the second half of this video. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. See you back in 60 seconds with the breaking details about those $60,000 checks, those MSCs for third stimulus, and that oil deal hatched minutes ago. See you back as Evening's Ally continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community.
The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate.
And the excitement continues as we go into a big second half of Evenings LA. Huge breaking details tonight, folks. I have never seen a recording like this. First, we'll go over that deal that is going to be inked in the next 24 hours that'll send your gasoline prices back to where they were nearly 10 years ago. Goodbye, $5 a gallon. Goodbye, $4 a gallon. They will be gone. It's a breaking news story, and no, we're not going to recession because of oil. But are we going to recession because of wheat, energy, and other situations like the bank? Yeah, it's a major twist. We'll be looking at that. It's 6 stimulus. And we'll have a preview of what's happening next week as those economic leaders meet overseas to ensure that 6 stimulus happens, because no one wants to go into recession. Then we'll be looking at the huge developing details from Biden and Xi. Biden and Xi had a major meeting today. Who's Xi? Of course, the president of China. And that major deal is huge, but did it anger Vladimir Putin? But first, we're going to start with those $80,000 of checks, and yes, those MSCs of third stimulus. Boy, folks, we have a lot in the second half and a lot of breaking news. Let's go over all the details right now. First, here's a preview of what's coming up later in this video. Later in this video, I'm going to show you how one of many viewers this week, last week, and the week before, and one overnight, have now gotten MSC's monthly stimulus checks from third stimulus by watching Evenings LA. This is on top of the check that they already gotten for third stimulus, and they're huge. This one viewer last night got $1,500 a month for 12 months. How do you get it? It's coming up in just a second. Stay with me. But first, we're going to start with the great news about these $80,000 fourth stimulus checks. They've gone out. Let's go over all the details. Build Back Better Act, the fourth stimulus recon, not law yet, but an add-on, an ancillary piece of legislation has been done. It was done by Joe Biden, did not require an act of Congress. And it was announced by the President of the United States 3 weeks ago tonight. As soon as it was announced, it went right into the membership newsletter for my members. They immediately bounced. Then it went live the following Monday. It's been live for 3 weeks, and the viewership of this channel has been cleaning up. Let's go over what these $80,000 stimulus checks are that have gone out and they have got to them. This is the homeowners grant, and it's for homeowners. If you're a renter, stay with me because I got you those MSC checks. And yes, that was an MSC check that viewer got of $1,500 a month for 12 months as a renter. It's coming up in a second. These $80,000 of checks are featured in the membership newsletter. That's how you get it. So become a member. The link is at the top of the channel on the pinned comment to get that newsletter. It comes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. First, the entire name of the grant is a little bit longer than the homeowners grant. It's featured in the newsletter. But let's go over the details and the eligibility. The eligibility is the same as a third stimulus check. $75,000 or less, you could get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you could get it. You don't double or triple it like a stimulus check. So family of four, you don't quadruple the money. It's $15,000 to $80,000 a household. If you're on benefits, you can get it. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, you can get it. It is not income. It's not taxable, so don't worry about your beneficiaries. It is not income, so it does not default you against your benefits receipt. Then also understand it's not a loan, so you're not repaying it. It's a grant. And finally, because it's not a loan, there's no credit check. How do you get this money? Well, you want to become a member. The link is at the top of the chat and not under the pinned the comments of the video. As becoming a member, you get that incredible newsletter, and it features the name of the grant. It's longer than the homeowners grant. Number two, it features the money. It features the eligibility. It features what it's for, and it shows you the link to go right in there. When you go right in there, you apply immediately. Now, let's go over what it pays you for. It pays you for great stuff as a homeowners. It pays you for mortgage assistance, home repairs, property taxes, your association fees, utility bills, and similar items. Now, what you want to do after you get tonight's newsletter is go right in and apply. You don't want to wait a minute. Let's explain the situation. The grant has now been live less than 3 weeks because it went live on a Monday. Less than 3 weeks. So everyone that's applied is now in front of you if you've not applied. You in a hurry, become a member and apply right away because those people are in front of you. They taking the applications, the states, and doing them first come, first serve, and paying out first come, first serve. So don't think about it too much. Number one, I've had viewers send me messages saying, I'm wondering, LA, should I, no, just apply. You can decide not to take the money if you don't want the money, but just apply. The website will send you the link right to the state. If it shows that you're eligible, then apply. I've already gone over the eligibility, but if you have any question marks, it's all on the website. Number two, get that application in right away. Number three, do not listen to anyone in the chat or your neighbors or the guy who sells you the taco. If they say something you like, oh, I applied for that 2 years ago, it's not the same thing. Or they say something like, you have to do this thing before you apply. They're wrong. They're trying to dissuade you against it. Do not hear other people telling you what to do before you apply. Listen to the recording and go right in and reply. There have been a lot of people in the live chat in the last few days that have been posting these strange messages like you have to do this before you apply. Guess what? Ignore them. I'm trying to delete their comments as they come in. Ignore them. They're wrong. Number two, do not rely on the map. I've shown you the map, but in some regards, I don't want to show you the map. Why? Because people are looking at the map saying, oh, I shouldn't apply until my state becomes a certain color. No. This is not a live map, number one. The map is changing by the minute, by the hour. Every state may be a different color by the time of this you're watching this recording. Number three, the map should not dissuade you from applying as soon as you can. Let's use, for example, Utah. Utah is great. What does Utah mean as great? Who knows? Who cares? You want to go right to the Utah website and see what it is tonight. It could have gone all the way from gray to pink to teal in just 5 minutes. So do not rely on this map and don't dissuade you from applying. Finally, do not think this through too much. I've had viewers send me message after message over day after day, and they haven't applied. You want to apply. First come first, or whoever they cut in front of you. Now, the other viewers, the membership of this channel, I'm so proud of you. You've gotten your application on file, and you got those wonderful words. Your application is complete. When you get when you get those words, I feel complete because you became a member. You went right in there, you got the application on file, and it says complete. Guess what? You're getting paid. $15,000 to $80,000 a household. It's absolutely wonderful. So how do you do this? Become a member. The link is at the top of the chat, pinned comment. Get that newsletter. Now let's go over the newsletter. It's sent out via the YouTube alert system. If you got an alert from YouTube about this video, that's the YouTube alert system. It comes out nearly exactly at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. That's 7 Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. It is not delivered via email. It is not delivered via a PDF. It's not delivered via lobsters, and it's not delivered via waivable check. So go get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday as a member and apply right tonight. Now, let's go over to something coming up later in this video. MSCs from third stimulus. Yes, viewers have now done the incredible. Viewers are now getting 8 to 12 month reoccurring stimulus checks from third stimulus, nearly a year and a half later. How do you get it? If you're a renter, if you're a homeowner, you can get it. It's coming up later in this video. But first, let's turn to that breaking news. It is a great element of news, folks. You're at the pump. You're paying $4 a gallon for gasoline, the AAA national average. And I've been telling you since day one of the Russian invasion, it's unsustainable. It is unsustainable. And if it stays at those levels through May, we go into recession. The price of Brent crude tonight, that is the international price of Brent crude, is back up. It is 108 tonight. It was 98 2 nights ago. It surged right back up to 108. It's surprised it's not come down because of the breaking news I'm about to deliver to you, but it might be because the traders are not in the office. But let me tell you the breaking news. Iran. The Iran-United States deal is being done. Congratulations, viewers. We have looked and watched this since day one of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Day one, when the Russian invasion of Ukraine happened, I said gasoline prices are going to go through the roof. We need to do that Iranian deal, or we need to get Venezuela. I put those as the two top priorities tonight. We have a deal. Tonight, we have a deal with Iran, and the oil is coming, and it's going to be in our United States, and for our partner allies, flooding the market by April or May, and we're going to drop dramatically down to the price of gasoline you saw nearly 10 years ago. Yes, it's going to be lower than it was 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago before the Iran invasion. It's going to be lower than it was before the Biden administration, before the Trump administration. It's going to be the lowest since nearly 15 years. It's absolutely incredible. So let me tell you what happened. The United States has been in an embargo of Iran because of his nuclear proliferation for many, many years. But in 2015, they started to broker a potential deal in which Iran would disarm its nuclear arsenal and then would provide us gasoline. That gasoline has not been in our markets, our partner allies' markets, for years to come. Tonight, a potential deal. Why suddenly a deal out of nowhere? Let's step back to last weekend. Last weekend, the negotiations were heating up. Day one of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, I said they need to get this deal done. And I worried that the deal would take us all the way to May until it happened. That was my worry. Too long, and we'll be in recession if we sit at these price levels by May. Then, about a week ago, the negotiators said they were speeding it up because of what Putin was doing. Who are the negotiators? Now we know tonight the negotiators were European delegates, Germany and France, doing it for us, doing it for all of us. God bless them. It was an EU delegation. The United States was not negotiating with Iran. United States was not in the room with Iran at any time, we learned tonight. Then, what happened last Saturday? Last Saturday, the negotiations in Vienna. Vladimir Putin's representatives walked in and said, deal is off. We're not going to let you do the deal, and told Iran to walk away. The deal ended. What are we learning tonight? That the United States and Iran and Russia brokered a side deal earlier in this week by a verbal agreement, which does not remove the sanctions with Russia, but explained the sanctions away. Let me explain what happened. Russia was worried that if this Iranian deal would be done, that even if the United States later, at a later date, did something with Russia that's more severe or less severe, that Russia could never do business with Iran. So, throughout this week, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that he had gotten a written guarantee after a verbal guarantee from the United States that whatever trade in the future Russia does with Iran, it will not be subject to the sanctions because of Ukraine. The United States said, yes, we're just clarifying our sanctions. Yes, Russia, you can go trade with Iran. We will not have anything to say about that. And with that, Russia backed up and said, go ahead, United States, do your Iranian deal. And tonight we have a deal here, folks. Tonight the deal is coming together quickly, and it could come as quickly as this week, says analysts from the Eurasia Group in a note obtained by Allied News. Russia's decision to moderate its demands, meaning walk away from its demands, clears the most significant hurdle in the front of this revival. What's the revival? It's called the JCPOA. The JCPOA was the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, which was brokered in 2015, but then fell apart because of Trump. Trump in 2015 threw it apart. Let's go explain what happened. There was initially a deal in 2015, but then Trump threw away the deal in 2018 as the negotiations were getting better. Suddenly he said, no, I'm throwing away the deal. Biden came in and said, I'm going to go back to the JCPOA and try to get a deal with Iran. The negotiations continue for the next year of the Biden administration. Then suddenly, this is what's happening with gasoline. Iran had been producing 3.8 million barrels before Donald Trump walked away from the deal in 2018. When Trump walked away, the number of barrels dropped to 1.9, and now it's grown up to about 2.4, according to the Atlantic Council. The deal tonight, that it's not formalized yet, but the deal that's being announced tonight, that's likely to be signed in the next day or two, would bring in about, let's give you the numbers, would bring in about, I think it's 500, do I have it here? I think it's 500, oh, here we go. 500,000 barrels of oil day one, which could be as early as April. And then by the end of the year, growing to 1.3 million barrels of gasoline per day. Again, this deal is going to be done by April to May. So let's explain this out. First of all, let me give the numbers. The analysts are saying that the deal will initially bring gasoline to about $3 to $5 to $5 a barrel. That is not $3 to $5 at the pump. So I may have said that before. We're currently tonight at $108 a barrel. $3 a barrel. Yeah, that's a big difference, folks. Yes, you're going to see gasoline from prices from almost 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You have not seen these gasoline prices in nearly a generation. It's huge. So it's initially going to be a big drop when you see the deal inked later this week. And then it's going to get better every single month because it's going to grow from 500,000 barrels on day one to 1.3 million barrels by the end of the year. Huge, huge. It's major breaking details. Now, tonight I have a series of new insights, which we did not know till tonight. We had asked each other, why had the White House not gotten a deal with Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates in recent days? I was critical about it last night. You'll see that recording right after this one. And now we know why. Now we know what's going on. Apparently, those other countries, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, OPEC Plus, have been watching and were aware of these negotiations and knew that U.S. was front burner, prioritizing with Iran and not prioritizing anyone else to get the gasoline. Biden made the decision, it's Iran. We're going to get the oil from Iran, and guess what? The two reportedly did not take Joe Biden's phone calls this week as he reached out to them to increase the production. Translation, Biden did make the phone call to Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, after I said for him to make the phone calls. But they refused to take the phone calls because they understood Joe was front-loading or pursuing more vigorously an Iranian deal over them. And they said, no, we're insulted. Our feelings are hurt. Our barrels are crying tears, oil tears. And so guess what? He did the easiest deal, which is Iran. And here we go. Huge breaking news. So you can now breathe a sigh of relief. The gasoline you're paying at the pump is going to be gone in less than 30 days. Huge. And we're going to go not back to where it was 3 weeks ago, not 3 months ago, not 3 years ago, nearly 10 to 15 years ago. Huge. More about this tomorrow as more analysts analyze how low the price could drop. It's going to be astronomical. That is point one. Now, point two that's happening tonight is this huge bit with Xi. Xi, of course, is the president of China, and the president of the United States met with Xi in a 2-hour phone call today. Now, if you've been watching this channel, Xi is very problematic. Xi is the president of China, and I have a lot to tell you tonight. It's a lot of breaking, developing details. First, Xi is at home having major problems. First, he has supply chain problems that are going to hurt us and send us into recession. His country is suffering Omicron subvariant wave 6, and it's likely to be in the United States in less than 30 days. And his country is seeing a potential lockdown, number one. Number two, Xi is also seeing that Western countries, especially the United States and Wall Street, saying, do not invest in China. The analysts are now on all the morning news saying, do not invest in China because Xi may wake up at any moment and say, I don't like how the sun looks this morning. I'm delisting or devaluing or taking away your investment in a particular item. So all Wall Street analysts are telling their net worth clients and also the corporate clients, do not invest in China. So Xi is suddenly seeing all the investments coming out of this country. That's problem number two. Now, problem number three is that Xi is worried that his products may not reach our shores, and that his products may not reach Russians' shores. So why was this teed up, this 2-hour meeting today? You've seen it on this channel. Xi may send us into recession. Why? Because Xi may get sanctioned by us. Yes, Xi now confirms, China now confirms, Russia now confirms, which was not the case less than 3 days ago on this channel, on Evenings LA, that they did receive a request from Russia to give Russia money to get around its potential default because of the Ukrainian war. Xi has not agreed not to give him money, but did do some good stuff today. What is the takeaway of the meeting today? Is that Biden, who worked with Xi as vice president under Obama, has really done a really good job in trying to warm up to Xi, who before the Beijing Olympics published a one-page, a massive treatise signed by Putin, says, Putin's my best buddy, Xi is my best buddy, we will defend each other to the end of the earth, economically and domestically. Not a good letter. And it also said it would not allow Western allies to tell them what to do. Well, today, Biden got his way because he got the Western allies to get Xi to pivot. It came after that Rome meeting earlier this week was 8 hours long, and nothing was told of the meeting. So what happened at that Xi meeting? Initially, the White House did not release the memo, the transcript of the meeting, but I got it from the Chinese authority, and it was all good. It was not propaganda. It was all good. First, Xi said there should be peace in Ukraine. Good. He said he does not like the aggression in Ukraine. Number two, good. His country is actually giving humanitarian assistance, in the case of money, to Ukrainian refugees fleeing into Poland. Also good. And that he's going to help Ukrainian refugees wherever they're going. Also really good. He did not denounce Putin. He did not say there's an invasion. He did not say that the event's actually occurring. And he did not say, I won't pay money to Russia. But at the time of this recording, here's what you need to know. And it's six stimulus. Six stimulus is all about this. And the breaking news is that we learned today that the Western allies are meeting next week in Western Europe to talk about six stimulus. Yes, six stimulus will be the talk of the discussion, and Biden will be there. And I won't be there, but I'll have the breaking details that night and every night that they're there on Evenings LA. What are they going to be talking about? First, they're going to be talking about this Iranian deal to get off of that Russian oil. That's number one. But at issue, they're going to talk about everything else that is the subject of six stimulus. What is six stimulus? Six stimulus is that we need to get off of those Russian products, not just Russian oil, and we need to debt spend domestically, and debt spend involves giving money to our citizens, or if we don't, guess what? We go into recession. So getting off of Russian oil is one priority, and we may have that solved tonight. But there's other priorities, and there's a lot of them. The White House is now really waking up. Perhaps they're watching my videos. A lot of people have been saying, I think of people are watching your videos. There's some Wall Street analysts that you just tune in and you say, that came right from L8's mouth. It's very obvious that certain people are watching this channel. But the White House has more than just oil to fix. First is Xi and that supply chain. Xi's supply chain problem in not being able to get us parts for our cell phones, parts for our computers, parts for a lot of even furniture. A lot of furniture made by American manufacturers comes from China. He can't get it to us. We all go into recession. Xi sends us a recession. He goes into recession. That's problem number one is oil. That may be solved tonight, but there's a lot of other problems. Number two is wheat. The wheat problem is dramatic. Folks, this is really bad, and that is why they're meeting in Europe next week. Countries like Egypt and France and also Germany get 80% of their wheat from Ukraine and Russia, and now it's not available this season, next season, seasons to come. Why? Because the farmers are defending the war. They're not harvesting the crop for this season. Next season crop is now lost because they're not tending the soil to prepare for next season, and then the season after that is lost because Putin's cluster bombing their crops. So it's very problematic. Odessa is being advanced upon by those Russian troops. I've seen some wonderful tweets by viewers who are very informed about where the Russian forces are in the Black Sea, keep those tweets coming to me. I love them. I can't follow stuff like that, and I like it elsewhere. And I like when you send me those tweets. Keep on sending me those incredible details. So that disruption, if he takes Odessa, disrupts the exporting from Ukraine. But it's more than just wheat. It's just more than just oil. The other problems are the banking industry, and this is a very fluid situation. The fluid situation is a twofold. Number one, we do not know at the time of this recording how many U.S. banks have major investments in bonds and equities in Russia. Those bonds and equities are about to become devalued or valueless or credit worthless. And they are as the second element's coming up. That second element is the default by Putin. Putin has a series of interest and debt payments due day in, day out. I featured the March 16th payments last night. The next one that is huge is in about 5 days from now. The interest and debt principal. Yes, interest and principal. That obligation is so huge that if Putin doesn't meet it, it'll be the worst of a generation. Almost 100 years, we've never seen Russia default on anything. So what do you need to know? The date that I'm really watching, and I certainly said it on this channel, if there was ever a date that I thought that Putin may agree to the end of this war, it's April 4th. Why? Because Putin has a nearly $2 billion debt repayment in principle due that night. And that is the big one you want to watch, $2 billion. If he doesn't make it, guess what? Bad times for Putin. What are the other debt obligations and what are the dates? I'm going to give them to you right now. These are huge dates. You want to remember them. He has March 21st, 66 million in interest. March 28th, 102 for interest. March 31st, 88 million for interest. And here we go, 359 million for principal. And then finally, March 4th, 45 million and $2 billion for principal. It's huge. And if he doesn't meet those obligations, there you go. That is why six stimulus is being talked about by those leaders over internationally. They're not going to say the word six stimulus. Remember, the numbering system on this channel, the words, this is the way I record for you. I have to use simple language so you understand it. First, second, third, fourth, they're not sequential. So third and fourth are happening at the same time, and sixth will happen in April. Why? Because April is when Macron, part of the trifecta, the progressives, Joe Macron and the Chancellor of Germany will watch if Macron is reelected. If he's reelected, six stimulus is happening. When they're overseas, they're not going to talk about an MSC. They're not going to use the word stimulus. They're not going to use the number six. It's what you hear on this channel. They do not have to do one package before the other. So six is going to happen before fifth, which is for seniors. And six may happen before fourth's build back across the board. But the other fourth, the 80,000, has already happened. Now, MSC, yes. Third, yes. How do you get it? Oh boy, folks. I'm so excited. I am so excited that the viewership of this channel has taken everything I've taught them and really taken it up a notch. Lindsay Ramirez overnight revealed that she is getting a monthly stimulus check. In fact, 2 stimulus checks every month for 12 months because she watched Evenings LA. What is she getting? She's getting $1,500 a month for 12 months from third stimulus, an MSC bigger than Congress would ever put in that fourth stimulus package. $500 a month for 12 months for utilities, and $1,000 a month for 12 months for rent. That's $1,500 a month for 12 months. It's third stimulus. She's not alone. The night before that, Johnny Harvath is getting 8 months of rent, which is adding up to $26,000 of MSCs. He's getting approximately it's not approximately, it's 8 months for rent through the month of October, 8 months of stimulus checks, which is going to give him $26,000 of MSCs. He's not alone. I've had countless viewers, and you've seen them on this channel in recent days, that are getting 12 months of rent. That is a monthly $1,400 to $1,800 monthly stimulus check from third stimulus for rent. So how do you get it? Let's go over the details. Third stimulus became a law in January last year, but I've been training viewers how to get this money since the December 2020 month, and it's still paying out. It is for renters. It is for homeowners. Now, the homeowners grant, the $80,000, you can get that. And if you're a homeowner, you can get this as well. If you're a renter, you can get this. And yes, when we talk about rounds, the situation's changing. I had always told viewers, get 3 to 5 months per round. They got 3 to 5 months when it became law. Then they got another round last summer. They got another round for Christmas. It was last month, December 2021. And I always thought that the rounds were about 3 to 5 months. I was wrong, because now I have had a lot of viewers in the last about 2 weeks. This many viewers. Can you see that? This many viewers who are getting 6, 8, and a lot of viewers are getting 12 months of rent. It is bigger than any MSC of 4 stimulus, and it's huge. It's third stimulus. So how do you get the money? Let's go over the details. You want to reach out to 6 places to get this money, and it's huge because the money is available. You're going to reach out those 6 places to get these huge sums of money, and you're not going to wait, because guess what? This money is available right now. Where do you get that money? You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, and your county housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. 3 things you must do. You must reach out to all 6 places. Next, you must do multiple rounds. Now, that is where, you must do multiple applications, and you must get that newsletter. Now, notice that when I say multiple rounds, I may be incorrect, because I always thought that viewers could only get 3 to 5 months per rent or the utilities per round, which unto itself is almost as good as what the 4th stimulus MSC is. Now viewers are getting 6, 8, 12 months of this third stimulus money. And yes, the average payout is about $1,500 a month, and many viewers, 12 months. Insane. Absolutely insane. So get that membership newsletter. It's all featured in there. And it's important to remember, lean on the nonprofits, because those nonprofits pick up for stuff like shelter. If you're homeless, they pick up for items like home repairs, like broken windows. They pick up for a lot of other items that I don't even cover in this channel, in the recording. They're all in the membership newsletter. Again, the average viewer of this channel has gotten 45,000. Get those huge sums of money. So much breaking news across the board tonight. The important thing you want to remember is do this right now. Get these big sums of money. Don't wait across the board. As we go into a big night, there's a lot happening next week. Let me give you a preview of what's happening next week and give you a recap of all these incredible checks, because I know that's a lot that I've covered in tonight's recording. Plus, I'll go over what's happening with Vladimir Putin and what could be happening next week. First, next week, the Western allies will be meeting in Western Europe to discuss the economic events that they need to address for Vladimir Putin. It's not a military meeting, it's an economic meeting. And they've done really well, if you've seen with Janet Yellen last year, when they did the raising the corporate tax rate, when they met in either it was Ireland or Scotland, I can't remember. They did that in just a few hours of meeting. They preloaded by getting it ready before they met. We are likely going to see over the weekend, or potentially early next week, what they're going to discuss at that alliance next week. They generally give guidance about what the meeting is before they meet. We know what the meeting is for: to prevent recession, to prevent the soaring concerns about recession caused by Vladimir Putin. Because guess what? If you don't solve all the items, we go into recession. Now let's recap. We have a deal for oil, not signed yet, but even with that deal, we would go into recession. We don't have a solution for wheat. We would go into recession. We don't have a solution for banking. We would have a recession if we don't solve the situation for default. And we would go into recession if we don't solve everything. We can't figure out everything on this channel. I can't figure out everything. Here's an example. Western producers of automobiles, including our U.S. auto manufacturers, could see a very bleak future for 2 years, because guess what? There's an analysis report that says 2 to 5 million cars may not be sold in Western Europe because they do not have the parts for seatbelts made in Ukraine. Yeah, there's a lot that happens when a major country like Ukraine is invaded by Vladimir Putin. And how many industries are disrupted, we don't know. Today, the nickel market closed again. They've had a lot of problems with a lot of commodities besides wheat and grain. And the more this goes on, the more problems that grow. These are all being addressed in that major meeting next week. And the good news is that for now, one issue may be solved, but many more may come. Finally, my commentary tonight. My commentary tonight is that this has always been a channel of helping people, but I want to ensure that you help other people by not giving incorrect information. There's been a lot of people in recent days that have been posting incorrect information, and it doesn't help anyone, especially when there's so much money out there. And when you post incorrect information, what you do is you dissuade them, or tell them to do something they don't have to do. Let me go over the importance of how this is so significant. When this channel first launched, the very first videos I was recording in that empty beach of Manhattan, Hermosa Beach, during the lockdown was unemployment, EIDL, and I think the next day was rent. And I said, this is how you do it. Viewers are so happy that this channel launched. Thank you for explaining me how you do it. How do I get that grant? How do I get that loan? How do I get that unemployment assistance? They'd ask me questions, I answer it. In recent days, some people, even members, with no intent to cause harm, have tried to insert their narrative into the live chat. Please do not do that. Let me give you an example. One viewer said, in order to get the $80,000 of checks, you must do this first somewhere else outside of the grant before you even go to the website. You know how harmful that is? Do you know how harmful that is? The person who reads that, if it had not been deleted by me, the person who reads that would not apply potentially that night because they read and say, oh, I have to do that before I apply. I'll go do that. And guess what? Maybe it takes a day to do it. Maybe it takes 3 days to do it. Sends that person on a rabbit hole of doing that thing, and then they apply. Guess what? They didn't have to do it. It was not required. It was wrong information. And suddenly, that person who followed that rabbit hole, down that rabbit hole because of the wrong information, they waited maybe 1 to 2 days doing this incorrect stuff down the rabbit hole, and hundreds, thousands of people in their state got in front of them in line. Very bad. It's very, very bad. Do not do that. Second, it's bad because it dissuades people. It dissuades people from applying for getting the money. One person said, generally, this money for the grant is only to pay for this. I'm not going to repeat it because it's wrong. It's untrue. And so suddenly someone reads it and says, oh, maybe I won't apply because it's not money for me. I have enough issues to confront with viewers who say, oh, like maybe I shouldn't apply because it'll cancel my benefits. Maybe I shouldn't apply because my neighbor told me this. Maybe I have to deal with the insecurities of viewers. But imagine when other viewers say, don't apply because it's this. Don't apply because of that. It just really doesn't help people. People always love this channel, how it's so helpful, how viewers help people. And I'm saying this out of love because the viewers who are saying this are not being harmful. They're not trying to cause harm. They're causing confusion. They're causing wrong information. Please do not do that. And with that, you know what to do. Become a member. Go to the top of the chat, go to the video. Become a member and get that third stimulus. If you're a renter, if you're a homeowner, go get that third stimulus right today. And you can get those MSC checks because you've proven me wrong that this round is not 3 to 5 months. Viewers are getting 12 months. They're getting 12, 8, 9, 6 months of MSCs, more than Congress is ever going to give you under fourth stimulus. It's still happening, of course, that fourth stimulus. Then go get this homeowner's money. And for anyone who says, oh, you know what? I went to the homeowners thing and they asked me to pay a $30 application fee. You didn't become a member because you didn't go to the right thing. You went to the wrong thing. Coming up tonight is I Stand With Ukraine. The I Stand With Ukraine does the analysis of why the oil is so important. Here's what you need to know is that oil always needed that international production. Ramping up production domestically was not enough because guess what? Our partner allies needed gasoline. And if our partner allies didn't get gasoline, they go into recession, we go into recession. So we had to ramp up the gasoline for our partner allies. And if it gets us the gasoline domestically, then we get it as well. Why did Iran do the deal? Let me go over that part of the element, which I didn't tell you. Iran did the deal for a series of reasons. Remember, they're not going to have nuclear warheads, so don't think they are. Iran did the deal for a series of reasons. One, Iran will get $530 million that has been locked up. It's their money. It has been locked up since day one of the embargo. Imagine how many years that their money has been locked up. Where's it been locked up? In UK, in Great Britain. It's been locked up. And also great news is that a British-Iranian dual national has been in Iran detained since day one of this embargo. That man or woman, I don't know his name, will be coming back to England. So congratulations on that incredible that incredible individual who has suffered that detention for so many years, just horrible, and amongst the Iranian system, and now will be coming back to UK. And with that, a lot of details. Stay with me all weekend long because I'm going to look at what's happening with that major meeting next week. It's huge, and it is all about your sixth stimulus. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful evening. Do not forget to watch Evenings LA Monday through Sunday. 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central. And become a member, get that incredible money from third stimulus and fourth stimulus as well. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with Evenings LA for more.